Radio and on the ABC Listen app.
How do we unearth the next generation of sports stars and ensure that these young people are balanced, that they've got worldly skills, that their education is completed? The Newcastle Jets might have figured out how to do it, and it doesn't involve just footy. They're the first A-League club to partner with a homeschool organisation to offer up-and-coming players a chance to juggle their education and training. It's not just relevant to the Jets, of course. There's a message here for young sports people all around New South Wales about the opportunities that might be available. Brett Campbell is the chairman and CEO of UCA Future Learning. He's here to tell us more. Brett, how are you going?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, we know that, of course, we're used to homeschooling out in the bush in particular. A lot of kids have grown up and completed their education away from formal institutions. I guess in the case of sports people, so much is demanded of them from a young age. We know we isolate these young people and they're signed up to clubs at an incredibly young age. And education needs to be part of that mix.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a father myself, I think there's nothing more important that we can give our children than an education. So something you actually said there, Paul, was quite interesting, and I might be able to bust a myth for many other adults out there who have this, I guess, thought around homeschooling. Is you said that homeschooling is, you're out in the bush and you need the ability to be able to learn because you can't travel to a school. That actually only constitutes 1.5% of our actual homeschooling base. And our actual sports interested families are sitting at we've just cracked over 5% of our student base, all taking up homeschooling due to their wanting to take on those extra endeavours of we've got Olympic athletes, we've got world champions in different sports, and of course an amazing partnership with the Newcastle Jets team. So
yeah, I guess it's the timing, isn't it, of getting the mix together that often I would imagine that training schedules would coincide with regular school hours. Is that part of the problem?
Well, that's absolutely a massive part of the problem. It's not only that, it's the way that school has been created. And when I went to school, it was you were there from like 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. and, partly because of other reasons that affected outside of school as well. And it sort of made sense back then in that day and age. But the ability now for professional athletes, who are training 2, 3, 4 times a day, they might train better in the middle of the day during where you could say schoolwork is being undertaken. But a lot of our families, if you can get your schooling done in the afternoon, at night time, sometimes early in the morning, it provides that flexibility so you can actually train to a regime that is going to make you a penultimate athlete in the end outcome.
Right, so how does it work with clubs like the Newcastle Jets? What's your partnership look like?
Yeah, so we got approached from Newcastle Jets. We love working with. We're a very innovative business ourselves. We like to consider ourselves very pioneering. We like to partner with other pioneering, organisations as well. And so the Jets approached us, and they've got a great squad of young up and coming athletes, future Socceroos, hopefully, touch wood, and they needed to provide an opportunity on how their children can still, their students can still go through and learn and not miss out, so to speak, on an education, but also to be able to focus in on, they're able to train, they're able to turn up the training, they're able to tick off all the things that they need to do from a curriculum perspective. And when you actually look at the schooling system and the curriculum itself, I think many people will be quite shocked around what's actually required versus what you think is required. So a lot of our athletes and our homeschooling students, they can complete circa anywhere from 90 minutes to 2.5 hours of schoolwork a day, and they've completed most likely more than what most children would in an actual schooling setting, because, you've got to take into lunch, you've got recess, you've got transitioning from one subject to the next subject, et cetera. You've got all the disruptions that they can have. So it actually provides a really great environment, especially for those students, in this case, looking to become future sporting stars.
Yeah, and you've got to teach the curriculum still, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, I believe it's absolutely imperative that, we get the base education. And not only that, is the other flexibility with homeschooling is you quite often find that students start learning the basics, right? You've got your STEM subjects, but then they can actually spend a lot more of their, we'll call it spare time, working on other subjects that they really have interest in, where a lot of the time at school, you do have to just complete what's put on the table.
Yep.
And, what we also quite find is is, children are able to actually find what their passion is throughout the homeschooling journey, because they're able to spend more time on those particular areas as well.
Brett, just one final reflection, if you wouldn't mind. It's not been my experience, because from my observations, people who can succeed at one thing succeed at many. But this myth that our great athletes are dummies at school, aren't academically adept in any way, what are your observations around that?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, when you actually look at what creates a great education is a great mindset. And I think athletes, have one of the greatest mindsets of determination and courage and ability to get things done. And you quite often find a lot of our, we've got some Olympic athletes, we've got world champion scooter riders, and, all young children, and they're smashing their workout because they know that, hey, I still need to do this. In order for me to be an athlete, I still need to tick all the boxes, and I need to have an education. And quite often you'll find that their output of their education is much greater than what you'd find in the standard student.
All right, Brett, good to get your reflections. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Brett Campbell is the chairman and CEO of UCA Future Learning. They're in a partnership to assist emerging athletes at the Newcastle Jets, and opportunities for others, of course. 10